Welcome back to ETLifestyle, and today we'll be giving you guys some updates on the figures of some of the world's favorite hip-hop albums that released recently. And if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Today we'll be sharing some worldwide equivalent sales figures from major music markets like the US, UK, France, Germany, Japan, Korea, and more, compiled by Media Traffic. And if you missed our monthly sales report for album sales in January 2019, click the link that pops up at the top right corner now. Hoodie Season by A Boogie with the Hoodie is currently the #1 album on the US Billboard 200 albums chart, and although the album didn't light up the charts outside the US, the album has now accumulated sales of 492,000 equivalent album units sold worldwide. Of course, this number heavily relies on music streams, since pure sales, especially for newer hip-hop artists, struggle to hit 1,000 copies weekly in the US. News about 21 Savage have recently centered on the fact that the ATL rapper is actually from the UK, but his album I Am Greater Than I Was is actually doing quite well and is currently the #2 album in the US on this week's albums chart. This album has now crossed the 500k mark worldwide and has now sold 536,000 equivalent album units worldwide. It's also important to add that Post Malone's Beer Bongs and Bentleys, that released in April 2018, has been the best-selling album worldwide for a couple of weeks now, and for this week was actually the best-selling hip-hop album worldwide. The album sold 61,000 equivalent album units this week and has now sold 4.38 million equivalent units worldwide. Stoney, Post Malone's previous album, has been tagging along quite well and sold an additional 27,000 equivalent units this week and has now sold 4.2 million equivalent units worldwide. The soundtrack album for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is also swiftly approaching the 500k mark and added 42,000 equivalent units to its global tally this week. The soundtrack album has now sold 445,000 equivalent units worldwide and continues the trend of soundtrack album sales gaining momentum in recent years. Speaking of soundtrack albums, the best-selling album of 2018, based on pure sales and also equivalent sales, the soundtrack album for The Greatest Showman has a lot of life left, and this album was the third best-selling album of this week with sales of 63,000. This was enough to push its sales to over 6 million equivalent units sold globally, and it's the most recent album to cross this milestone globally. News about Lil Wayne's Carter 5 album has been slow lately, but this album crossed the million mark a few weeks after it released last year, although sales slowed down shortly after. Nonetheless, Carter 5 has now sold 1.39 million equivalent units worldwide. Queen by Nicki Minaj is at 1.21 million. Invasion of Privacy by Cardi B at 2.42 million, and Eminem's Kamikaze album is still doing decent numbers worldwide. Apart from enjoying huge pure sales worldwide, Kamikaze has also benefited from music streams and is now at 2.29 million equivalent units sold globally, based on data from major music markets. If you'd like to know more, leave your questions and thoughts below in the comments section. And for more sales-related content, hip-hop content, and more on the artists of the 21st century, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Special thanks to Troy Pierce, and if you'd like to support the channel, donate at the link in the description. Thanks for watching. ET signing out.